Breaking news in Major League Baseball. New York Yankees ace Gerrit Cole is scheduled to undergo Tommy John surgery tomorrow in Los Angeles. This would sideline the former Cy Young winner for the entire 2025 season and possibly part of 2026. Cole went to LA today for his second opinion after an MRI on his right elbow revealed concerning results. And with this terrible news, let's get in our wonderful baseball analyst, David Samson. David, good to see you. Wish it was under better circumstances here. Yankees now without two of their starting pitchers. Obviously, Luis Gil will miss the first few months of the season. Oof. Yeah, I'm wondering what you think of it.
Well, I can only tell you this, that we were ready for this news, and it was reported by Jim Bowden, our own Jim Bowden, yesterday. And the fact is that the Yankees now have a rotation problem, and thankfully they didn't get Juan Soto to come back because that enabled them to sign Max Fried, who will now be asked, as in the first year of his 8-year deal, to be the ace of the Yankees and try to get them 30-plus starts. But now you're talking about Marcus Stroman moving up to the 3-hole right behind Rodon, who's been very up and down. And they had Stroman not even in the rotation when they imagined their season. And here we are, not even at opening day, and the Yankees are now down to the reality they just don't have enough depth.
So they don't have enough depth. You talk about Marcus Stroman. Now, is he the most important player on the roster?
It's right. I'm going to say the most important player on the roster is Aaron Judge, because he's going to have to continue to carry this team offensively. You're going to need Goldschmidt to perform. You're going to need Devin Williams to be the closer that he's been. But in terms of starting pitching, I'm going to say that Clark Schmidt getting healthy, he may not even be ready to start the season. He's going to need to be a real number 4 starter. And when you look, if you're Brian Cashman, you have to really think about not waiting until the deadline to try to bring in another starting pitcher. And I also quickly remind everyone out there, they could have had another starting pitcher in Clay Holmes, who was in the bullpen last year, and he's now starting for the injury-riddled Mets on the other side of town. So it just goes to show you, Katie, he can never have enough starting pitching, and injuries just continue to be the story of spring training.
Well, if you could ever have as much or as too many starting pitchers, what kind of options are out there as a replacement, if there are any right now?
So this is the big thing you do as an executive when you have an injury. The first thing you don't do is go public and say, oi, do we have a problem? We have to go acquire something. Because then the 29 other GMs, they start frothing at the mouth and they say, oh God, the Yankees are desperate. They're going to overpay. So what you have to do is have Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone come out and say, we're very fine with what we have. We're disappointed that he's going to miss the year, but why would we panic with this great team we've put together? But deep down inside, they are now looking at names. And the number 1 name to look at is Sandy Alcantara, the Miami Marlins ace who's coming off injury and looks to be back to full health. He would slot in with Max Fried. Frankly, he'd slot in above Max Fried and become the ace of the Yankees. The question is, will the Marlins make them overpay to the point that they just don't want to do it? And will the Marlins move him now when already they're projected to lose 100 games? Would this mean losing 110 games, and does it matter? So he'd be the number 1 on the list. But then you can go middling, and you could look at a bunch of unsigned free agents who can come in and just sort of be what we call a 6-7. A 6-7 is a starting pitcher you have that really wouldn't be in your rotation absent injuries, but can come in, take some innings, have an ERA of 4.5 or above, and hope that your offense can mash to the point where that's good enough. So those are the 2 options. I mean, if you're the Yankees, haven't won a World Series since '09, it's hard to imagine they won't go for the option that makes them a force.
All right, so let's say they get Alcantara, or maybe they take some of those 6-7s that you just laid out. Like you said, they haven't won a World Series since 2009, but they did make it last year. As it stands, David Samson, where do the Yankees fit in a stacked AL East, or even as a World Series contender? I mean, it's tough against the Dodgers.
So let's think about a trade. The trade was Juan Soto and Gerrit Cole for Max Fried, Devin Williams, and Paul Goldschmidt. Is that a trade that you would make? Does that make your team better today? My name is David Samson. I'm completely healthy, and I can tell you that I would never make that trade. I would want a healthy Cole and Juan Soto on my team versus Fried, Goldschmidt, and Williams. However, those three are no schleppers. They are going to help this team, but does it make them better than last year? That's a major wait to see, Katie. We'll see how the season unfolds, but I would have to say no as it stands now.
No, as it stands now. We're always a yes from us, David Samson. Thanks for hopping on and breaking this news with us on Gerrit Cole. We appreciate it. When we return, is AI really smarter? We're about to find out. It's our Sportsline analyst versus the computer. Top props in the association is next.